So standard commentary voice, standard. Bit more excited, bit more excited, bit more excited. Big chance, big chance, big chance! bring you live pictures from Melbourne's North, round 11 of the NPL Women's Victoria season, as the Preston Lions play host to Heidelberg United, the final game of the opening half of the NPL Women's Victoria season, with the hosts Preston Lions looking to return to second place on the table, snapping a two-game losing run in the process, whilst Heidelberg, they look to continue what has been a two-game winning run and stay in the race for the top six. My name is Joey Lynch. Thank you ever so much for joining us for today's game. As I said, we'll be bringing you live pictures as soon as the two teams kick off here at BT Connor Reserve. Both sides currently huddling up before the action can commence. The two captains having done the coin toss and now returns to their sides. Referee Benjamin Lapello, our man in the middle, assisted by Nicoletta Soteropoulos and Lachlan Dew. Fourth official is Daniel Collins. Heidelberg, as mentioned, coming into this one off the back of 1-0 win over the Bentley Greens and a rather comfortable 4-0 win over Brunswick Juventus under the steer of new coach Sven Simald, taking over at the start of that winning run after Luis Baritas left the club in the aftermath of a 3-0 defeat to Box Hill United. Preston Lions, meanwhile, they had been flying atop the table, but two defeats in back-to-back weeks. Bulleen Lions coming here and taking away a 2-0 win, and then going on the road and falling 2-1 to the Essendon Royals, thanks to goals from mid-season additions Emma Robers and TJ Vlanic, putting Preston into the unfamiliar and not all that comfortable confines of the losers' circle, looking to bounce back with a big win today. Susan von Sonkam has her foot on the ball in the middle. She's joined in Preston's starting lineup today by Charlotte Frahosen in goals. In front of her, Jade Feeks, El Talevsky, Miri Nishimura, Mabe Tanaka, Emma Checker, Elia Lamont, Hayley Johnson, Eva Harrington, the aforementioned von Sonkam, and Georgia Henderson. Meanwhile, for the visitors, they've got Mia Bailey, one-time Brisbane Raw keeper, in goal for them. In front of her, Cameron Barrero. There's a bit of a battle for it in the midfield. We'll just move towards the action as Preston maybe trying to get something going down the left. Ellie Lamont thought better of it. So we'll get back to Heidelberg's lineups. Mia Bailey, Cameron Barrero, Sarah O'Donoghue, Steph Galea, Margot Rabin, Aska Miata, Olivia Edwards, Madison Rakic, Mami Ambo, and Alana Janchevsky. Another one of these big mid-season A-League women additions out there, alongside the likes of Checker and von Sonkam. O'Donoghue's ball across the park. Not quite cleanly controlled, and the first time of asking. Barrero doing her best to at least get there and gain a few metres in front of the grandstands here. Guinness Steel Stadium, to give it its official title. BT Connor Reserve, its traditional one, as von Sonkam had a ball bouncing up favourably and options, but before she could decide to do one or the other, shoot or pass, Mia Bailey coming off her line and smothering the ball. Rabin now trying to pull the strings for Heidelberg, sending it out to Barrero on the left. Nothing doing in front of her. Heidelberg trying to find a way through. O'Donoghue laying the ball back off. Ambo falling as she shoots. See, she's got the strapping on the leg as well. Maybe coming up a little bit of a cropper, Mami Ambo. Looks like she's going to try to jog it off. Mid-season addition from Calder United. Ambo scored 2 goals with Calder before making her switch, and subsequently got a goal on debut in that 4-0 win over Brunswick Juventus. Checker out in the left, first time ball, it's a good one. albeit it was into the path of an offside Tanaka. Tanaka representing Preston's mid-season edition of a Japanese attacker, crossing over, well, registered for Kilo Park after coming across initially from the Women's K-League, 3-year stint with Suwon. She did score 5 goals in 23 appearances during the her last season there. She heads this ball on, and Preston start bursting down the right flank, only for them to run out of real estate, run out of road, and Heidelberg United will have themselves a goal kick early on in this contest. Well, he's played short. Janczewski unable to keep it in. Janczewski has 2 goals in 2 games since joining up with the Burgers mid-season. Scored the lone goal of the game in their win over the Bentley Greens last week, ensuring that Captain Courageous Steph Galea would mark her 150th appearance in the famous black and yellow shirt of Alexandros with a win, with the 3 points. And no doubt now she is hoping that game number 151 has a similar happy ending. She bursts forward now as the ball is played forward. Set quite a task, 3 against 1. Horace sends it out to Checker. Bit of time. Figure out what she wanted to do, and in the end that was to send it backwards to Feeks. Heidelberg, well, maybe a little bit of a press just to keep their opponents honest. Ambo giving chase, unable to get there before it rolls out. Harrington can throw the ball in. Nice little header on by Tanaka, but not clear before Henderson could seize upon it and advance further. Preston, no, beginning to build. Throw in the Fonsong camp direction, knocked clear by Barrero. There's a chilly one out here in Melbourne's north. You can see a number of the players wearing the long sleeves, including keeper Mia Bailey, who just takes a strong chest mark before sending the ball out to the right. Miata didn't like the scenes in front of her. Instead, the Burgers will look to reset. O'Donoghue beats one, can't beat the second in the form of Nishimura. But Heidelberg have moved the ball forward nonetheless. 50-50 ball, Ambo battling for it against Harrington. Janczewski. Challenge comes in from Henderson, but it will surrender a corner kick. Opportunity for Heidelberg to get some numbers forward. Taken short. Was driven into the top of the 6-yard box where it fell to Steph Galea, but she couldn't control it. Bounced upon her in a hurry. Perhaps a bit of a let-off for Preston, unable to clear that ball in. O'Donoghue can't collect. For Checker sends it back to Feeks. von Songkamp. Against Janchevsky, two former Perth Glory teammates. Coming together in the middle of the park with the Heidelberg United player, Janchevsky, giving away the free kick. Janchevsky, of course, spending the past season with Adelaide United in the A-League Women. Von Songkamp still at Perth Glory, where she scored 4 goals across 21 appearances for coach Alex Aparkas' side. Of course, would have visited BT Connor Reserve during the A-League Women's season when Perth Glory came to and defeated Melbourne City at this ground during their hot start to the season, which unfortunately for those in purple they couldn't maintain. O'Donoghue sending it forward. Rabin trying to just slide it into Mami Ambo on the left flank. Picked out. Nishimura to Checker. Ball is turned over. Galea laying it off after Rakic stole in to win possession back for Heidelberg. Now there is space for Barrero to work in on the left. She's closed down by von Songkamp. Favourable bounce to Ambo. Just can't link up with the run of Robin, and it's going to slide all the way through to Rahorison. Rahorison tries to put her boot through it. Maybe didn't get enough, as much as she wanted on it, but it was able to be knotted on by Johnson. Now Checker wants to steal a march down the left, unable to do so before Weston gets in the road. Fourth official Daniel Collins just giving the ball to Emma Checker so we can resume play. Hurled into the penalty area and then nodded on. Von Songkamp is there, but so was Mia Bailey. As she collects and tries to unleash Janchevsky quickly. Ball down the left for Ambo. The 222's going at it. And in the end, Harrington did enough to ensure her side could come up with it. Potentially now something on the break if they can keep play moving. Comes out to Tanaka. Overlapping run of Checker is ignored, and then Barrero gets in the way of the pass intended for von Songkamp. O'Donoghue plays it back to Olivia Edwards, playing against her former side today. Spent a few seasons with the Preston Lions as they secured promotion from the VPLW and into the Victorian Women's Top Flight. Did Edwards, now wearing the Heidelberg United shirt. Talevsky just content to let that one roll out for a throw-in. Just inside Heidelberg's half of the pitch. O'Donoghue placing it central to Miata. Wanted Rakic on the right, just didn't open up, so instead she went back to her centre-backs. She repeats, Weston. Bailey, Preston, getting set up well in their defensive shape. Denying Heidelberg an easy outlet out. And the cries of now you squeeze up immediately coming from the Preston dugout as they force this one out for a throw-in. Checker, part of those squeezing efforts, puts the ball out for another throw-in, and again the cordon is erected around Rakic's throw-in. Ball in dispute. O'Donoghue gets a head on it. Rabin keeping play moving to Janczewski. Loses one. Has Barrero on the left, and that's where it goes. Rabin. Ball delivered into the top of the box. Preston get a head on it. A much needed head. Johnson left it, and it found its way through to Tanaka. Von Sonkam has Henderson on the right. Tries to slide it through to her, only for Barrero to make the important intervention. Liv Edwards, then, bit of calmness and sending it back to Bailey. So both sides just beginning to put some passes together and maybe ask some questions of the other, but to now, both back fours rising to the challenges. Barrero sends a ball centrally, but to nobody in particular, as Checker comes away with it for the Preston Lions. Feeks across to Talevski. Von Sonkam, first time ball around the corner to Harrington. Played central for Henderson. Janczewski trying to steal it away. Can't do so. Gives away another free kick in the middle of the park. Takes a bit of time getting back to her feet, Janczewski does, but I reckon she's all right as she jogs back. Meanwhile, on the ball, Checker floats it to the top of the box, falls down, second attempt, off the crossbar. Preston coming ever so close to opening the scoring. The favourable bounce from Checker's cross, but Hayley Johnson with a high degree of difficulty on it. Just unable to loop it over Bailey. Johnson does love a goal, leading this Preston side with 8 on the season. The Milwaukee-born attacker certainly upholding her side of the bargain after joining from UMF Selfoss in Iceland. Well, Checker not happy to have given away the throw-in. I believe the exact wording was, "You're having a laugh." The referees aren't laughing, and Heidelberg gets us going again with the throw-in. Rakic thought about keeping it in, instead decided to throw it. Galea to O'Donoghue. Driving into the penalty area, but she's surrounded, laying it off for Janczewski, and it just slices off her foot. And indeed, it's going to stay in play. Barrero's ball in. Had Ambo lurking, but unable to just drag it back. And probably Heidelberg's clearest, or one of them at least, the clearest look on goal yet. Like Ambo's early attempt, Janczewski unable to just make proper contact on it. As Preston now looking to build up under pressure. Ball lofted out for Von Sonkam. Henderson keeps it moving in the right direction if you are of the Preston inclination. And that's where it will end as Heidelberg take possession. Miata forward to Ambo. Rabin. Back to Miata again. Bit of triangle work from the Burgers before the ball is floated forward for Galea, who's going to take a first-time attempt. And as has been the theme for these early Heidelberg attempts, just unable to make proper contact with it as it slices off her boot. and comfortably nestles behind the goals for a goal kick. But Heidelberg now, Galea! Collected by Harrison, fairly, according to our official. But Preston playing themselves into trouble at the back. Heidelberg just going through a bit of a purple patch in these last few exchanges, asking questions, albeit, as mentioned, their final touch on the ball, their final effort has meant they've not been too difficult for Preston. Barrero's ball into Janchevsky. And Henderson at her back, closing down the angles. Barrero out to Ambo on the left. Galea waits in the middle. That's where the ball was intended to go. But Preston able to get a boot in and send it out for another corner kick. Talevsky with the challenge on that occasion. And well, we saw Heidelberg's first corner of the game from this same position. Went short to Janchevsky. And she's going to present an option to Rabin for that again, albeit von Sonkam has come out to close that down. So Rabin instead looks to the 6-yard box. First header goes high, ball still in play. Good defending from Preston as Checker comes out with it on the left, setting it forward. Lamont laid it back off, and Preston will eventually come up with it. Horison's ball back out to Lamont, chest. Only to have it promptly stolen away. And then one straight back. Heidelberg wanted a free kick. It's not coming. Tanaka sends it out to the right flank. Harrington wanted to slide it through to Henderson. Picked out. Can have another go. Harrington, ball in. Von Sonkam, one touch. Took her wide. Drags it back. Looking for Johnson in the middle. Couldn't find her. But Preston still coming. And hitting the crossbar, and it wouldn't have counted as the flag had been raised. But after living dangerously up one end, Preston coming back up, and now just reminding the Burgers that they've got the firepower. They have scored 27 goals in just 10 games this season, almost 3 a game. Albeit the 8-0 win they had over Calder just over a month ago does help in that statistic, albeit it also demonstrates that they can score in bunches. Is that ball forward for Ambo? Doesn't come up. Harrison sends it to Talevsky. Eventually clears it away. Checker. It's pressured by O'Donoghue. Throw in taken quickly by Checker. Out into the path of Tanaka. Goal kick. Preston wanted a free kick, but it won't be forthcoming. Rabin to Miata. Galea. Miscommunication. Barrero had made the run up the flank and the pass went behind her. Presents instead Preston an opportunity to get things going in their opponent's half. Ball in the hands of Harrington. Just hurls it up the touchline in the direction of Henderson. Heidelberg scramble clear, and now they're through. O'Donoghue Playing it into the path of Rabin. Margot Rabin just got the ball caught up underneath her at the final moment. Bit of a tepid shot. And Harrison falls upon it. And another Heidelberg chance goes begging. I wonder if you are Coach Sven Semild on the bench, you've got to be hoping that as you look to extend this winning run that has greeted your interim tenure, one of your players certainly at one point just has to put their boot through one of these attempts. As the ball will come back for a free kick for Preston. No advantage gleaned after Lamont was fouled. Emma Checker to take. And you can tell she's got a sponsor deal with New Balance. Those things are gleaming, those boots, as she sends the ball in. Coming together there between Lamont and Rakic will be a free kick to the Burgers. Von Sonkam, though, winning it straight back. Battling hard for it, and she gets her reward as Preston retain possession. Lamont, closed down by O'Donoghue, who lost their footing, and that allowed Lamont to face the right way. Ball was played in behind Henderson. Will fall out to Harrington, bringing the ball forward and then laying it off to Johnson. Ball across the face of goal, and it's going to be turned in, but it will not count. Tanaka with the touch, but it was from an offside position, and Heidelberg immediately getting play restarted, trying to take advantage. 1-2 for Ambo on the right flank. She looks to slide it through in the Galea direction, picked out. And on the second attempt, it's also picked out, this time by Checker. Rabin working against Nishimura. Ambo in there as well. And then the long range attempt, and it's going to scoot through! Asuka Miata! She bought a ticket and she won the meat tray. Just scooting through underneath Rahorison. And moments after Preston have a goal disallowed for offside, Heidelberg, well, they finally make proper contact with a shot, and it finds the net. And it is Heidelberg United, the Burgers, that draw first blood here at BT Connor Reserve. And, well, Miata, maybe she only scores from range. She scored an absolute perler in round 2 in what was a 3-1 loss to Bulleen. This one probably not out of the same tippy-top draw, but from similar range as she puts the Burgers ahead, who now, coming forward, want to try to make it 2 in quick succession. Rabin battling for it. Janczewski there as well, but so is Henderson for Preston. The goal scorer, Miata. Play on is the call. Barrero to Ambo. Harrington getting back well. Ball will find its way through to Galea. Talevski getting in her face. And doing so well. O'Donoghue let the ball run, and that allowed Nishimura to come in and contest it. Edwards coming forward and hoofing it away before Preston could think of transitioning. And Checker will have the throw in on the left flank. Feeks sending it forward to Johnson. Lamont Has Nishimura in support. Just to carry it inside herself and send it through to Johnson. Now Harrington has a lot of space on that right flank. Looking for Fonsoncam. But Barrero gets there first, sending it out for a corner kick. Preston have been getting some joy down that right flank on a few occasions. The disallowed goal coming from a cutback to Tanaka from that side. Heidelberg getting back to defend, everybody but skipper Steph Galea, who's just come across to the dugout to get a few instructions. She's going to stay up near the halfway line for a transition. It's a good ball in, but it's claimed equally well by Mia Bailey, who just hoofs the ball forward. And, well, there we go. Route 1 football. Galea gives chase. So does Talevski and Harrington. Talevski gets there first.
Hey, tell me why no one's there.
She puts the ball into touch. And just like that, with one swing of her leg, Mia Bailey completely switches field position. Yeah, this ball just goes over the head of Galea. Barrero to Rabin. Her attempted layoff deflected away. Lamont chests it down. Closed down by Miata. Fonsoncam working against Barrero again. The latter giving away a throw-in. Checker, high ball. In the end, it will gain territory more so than find a teammate. Goal kick for Heidelberg. Mia Bailey. Another opportunity to put her boot through this one. Liv Edwards providing the short option. Joins Heidelberg United from Gold Coast for the 2024 season. Mia Bailey, one of the powers of Queensland NPL football, Gold Coast United. As mentioned, did spend time with the Brisbane Roar from the right top end, from Cairns originally. From North Queensland to North Melbourne. You can probably hazard a guess about which one's warmer. There's Emma Checker now. Shoots the ball in, but too close to Bailey. Commanding her area well today, Mia Bailey. Claiming a lot of these balls being floated in by Preston. There's Ambo now. For Galea, first time ball laid off for O'Donoghue. Janchevsky. O'Donoghue, nice turn from the Heidelberg number 6. Appeals for a handball, waved away by the referee. The ball was intended for Rakic, who now sprints back to get to her position at right back. Lamont. Preston looking to just get set up and find a way through this Heidelberg shape. Fonsoncam dropping deep to receive. Trying to instigate things. Feeks. Puts her boot through it. Flicked on, but it bounces off the chest of Nishimura. Johnson will knock it back down to Nishimura, then looks up. Lamont on the left. She's got Tanaka in the middle. Johnson arriving as well. Goes herself in the end. Does Lamont. And well, she's got 6 goals to her name this season, so it's probably earned the right, but on that occasion, her effort sails over the crossbar and out for a goal kick. Edwards. As her attempted ball forward closed down from Songkham. Just bundled over by Edwards. That burst of energy that you can only ever get when you have made an error. Following Edwards as she tried to win the ball back, but unfairly in the end. Now the opportunity presents itself for Preston to get some numbers forward. They do have a bit of size. Hayley Johnson, bigger body. Emma Checker as well. You can see there at the back of this line that has formed on the top of the box. In the end, no comfortable collection as it's nodded on and bounces to Bailey. Not anticipating any subs anytime soon, but both benches are out and going through the motions, maybe just keeping warm in these chilly conditions for the host Preston Lions. They've got Sasha Liparidis as the backup goalkeeper, Molly May Ramsey, Liv Lamink, Lani Gadice, Summer Kapanetcha and Dakota Thyssen as outfield options. Heidelberg United, Ruby Summelt is the backup goalkeeper, Catherine Vlahopoulos, Keely Lockhart, Daniela Galuccio, Eve Titakakis as that effort comes in, and there's a comfortable collection for Harrison. And Liliana Lamage are the outfield options on the bench for the visitors. Lamont goes down under the attention of Rakic. Play on is the call. Ambo had the ball bounce away from her, still got a boot on it to send it to Galea. Jancheski turning! Getting the shot off, but it's straight at Harrison. Not a lot of power on it either, and meanwhile we'll have a stoppage of play because potential injury for Preston. Ankle, perhaps, the right ankle, receiving some kind of attention from the trainer. Well, Jade Feeks will make her way to the touchline. Hopefully something that she can just work off. A few smiles between her and the trainer as she comes off. Hopefully we can read into that she'll be able to continue. It's Dan Fodden coming across as well to assess. Preston though, temporarily at least, reduced to 10. As Miata takes the ball back for the Burgers. Rabin to Barrero, and then she's going to go all the way back to Edwards. On Songkham, getting in the road, battling for it, winning it from Songkham. Carrying it inside. Lamont and Johnson options in there, so was the onrushing Henderson. Still on the ball is von Songkham. Maybe took too long on it as Rabin knocked it clear, and in the aftermath, the Burgers will win themselves a free kick. And Jade Feeks is preparing to re-enter the fray, waiting for permission from our official on the halfway line. He's not going to let her on before this free kick is taken, much to the chagrin of the Preston dugout. Now she sprints on. as Ambo lays it back off. Janchevsky, Galea, was she in an offside position? Doesn't matter in the end. Harrison sending it out to Emachek. Now Heidelberg, they've got that 1-goal lead and they're trying to institute this press, and Galea, well, Steph Galea almost creating something out of nothing with it. It's Preston, after that let off, trying to build out. Georgia Henderson doing enough to keep it in. That's going to give it straight to Edwards, albeit Heidelberg are going to give it straight back. Tanaka. Good sliding challenge from Edwards. Had to be clean. It was inside the area. Top of the box. Henderson, first time over the crossbar. Sienna Weston's ball for O'Donoghue. She had Johnson behind her. Forced her to be clean with it, but she was. As was Miata as it sent out to Barrero on the left. Preston quickly getting across to close down the passing lanes. Barrero looking up. High ball in the Ambo direction, headed away from her. Janchevsky. Another ball intended for Ambo. Checker. Getting a boot on it. Rabin. Lovely skill from Margot Rabin. And Nishimura, but not the second challenger. And for Harrison off her line. Quickly to win her side back possession. Albeit, again, you can see the Burgers at least attempting to close them down as they try to get out of their own half. Tanaka giving chase to this ball down the left. Weston for company. High ball in. Fonsoncam was there, but it couldn't get over the head of Rabin. Harrington's ball in, and well, Bailey will collect. You had Tanaka lurking, but too much mustard on it for her to chase that one down. The throw-in incoming for Harrington to Henderson, whose first time effort round the corner. Well, if it was last year, it would have found a teammate in Olivia Edwards. This year she's wearing black. No harm done as Preston immediately win the ball back. Edwards with the attempted clearing header out to the left flank. Lamont under a lot of attention there from Rakic, and eventually the attention will lead to a free kick in threatening area for Preston. Fonsoncam coming across to take, and well, this kind of angle one would normally rule a shot out. Maybe some audacious attempt to just float it inside the far post, but you can see numbers pouring forward for the hosts. On Soncam, it's a low delivery, maybe something out the training track. Just driving it into the feet of Haley Johnson to flick on. Doesn't result in a goal, but it does lead to a Preston corner that Miri Nishimura will amble across to take. Sea of bodies inside the 6-yard box around Bailey. Goes to the top of that area. Unable to find anybody before it's booted clear by Rakic. Ambo turning and then booting the ball forward. Galea was inside our half when the ball was played, so she was onside. Now Rabin, crossfield ball, intended for Janchevsky, couldn't find her. Ball in dispute, Tanaka comes up with it. Nice little attempt to slide it through for Lamont. Bailey had to come out of her own area to clear. Talevsky, back to Checker. Thought about the long ball forward, then thought better. She got it across to Feeks. Harrington. Preston again looking to build down this right flank. The underlapping run of Harrington ignored. Edwards, header will only find Nishimura. Gets underneath it, and Bailey came out, and he's able to claim just before Tanaka could get to it. From Sonkan to Nishimura, looking for Tanaka. Edwards, defensive header, good one. Down to Bailey. Lamont flicks it down to Checker, who was closed down by O'Donoghue. Second attempt to Lamont. Nishimura. Harrington battling against Amiabda as we see 1 minute of added time. 45 minutes gone. Heidelberg holding on to a 1-0 lead thanks to Asuka Miyata. Feeks plays the ball forward. Johnson's first time effort around the corner. It's going to fall for Tanaka. Wanted Lamont. Couldn't come up with it. Preston, they've had the better of these final exchanges in the opening half. Looking to see if they can strike gold very late on. Johnson playing at central for Von Songkam. Henderson. Driving forward, first shot, charged down, second one, not clean contact. And Mia Bailey will come up with it. And that's probably, and indeed it is, all that was written for the first half of this round 11 NPL Women's Victoria contest. And it is the visitors, Heidelberg United, that will take a 1-0 lead into the dressing room as they look to extend a 2-game winning streak into a 3-game one. It was Asuka Miyata with the strike, long range, not going to be one that Charlotte Harrison is going to enjoy watching back on the film review as it just spurted underneath her. But it is the difference in this one as Heidelberg United take a 1-0 lead into the halftime break against the Preston Lions. Second half coming at you in about 15 minutes or so here on the NPL Women's Victoria YouTube page. You'll be seeing the countdown clock as we await the commencement of that, but be sure to join us on the other side. Welcome back, one and all, to Guinness Steel Stadium here at BT Connor Reserve for the second stanza of this round 11 NPL Women's Victoria contest between the Preston Lions and Heidelberg United. If you are just joining us here today on the stream on the NPL Victoria YouTube page, it is the visitors, Heidelberg United, that holds a 1-0 lead coming into this second 45 minutes, thanks to Aska Miata. Her long-range effort well, it was a bit of a hit and hope, but in the end, the hope was well placed as it scooted underneath Charlotte Rahorison to provide the game with, thus far, its only goal in the 26th minute. No changes indicated for either side coming out of the main break as we get set to rejoin the action here in Melbourne's north with Heidelberg United on the ball. My name is Joey Lynch. Thank you ever so much for joining us, whether you are rejoining for the second stanza or just tuning in, as Preston looking to respond and avoid falling into what would be a 3-game losing run. They already fell out of second place last night after South Melbourne staged a dramatic late win against Brunswick Juventus, scoring in the 93rd minute in the end. Preston could retake second place on the ladder behind FC Bulleen Lions, who currently lead Calder United, if they were to take the 3 points today. But first, they'll have to engineer a way past the Heidelberg United outfit that is themselves on a 2-game winning run. Mid-season coaching change with the departure of Luis Baritas and the arrival of Sven Samild. Thus far, at least. Seeing a 2-game new manager bounce, looking to become a 3-game one. But Nishimura on the ball for Preston, sending it to Harrington, looking to change that. Tanaka had a goal in the first half that was ruled out for offside. Has that effort closed down by Barrero, one of Heidelberg's best in the opening stanza. Rabin coming up with it. Laying it back to Edwards. Ball in dispute in the middle of the park. O'Donoghue's going to seize upon it with a bit of time and space to look up. Play the ball in the Janchevsky direction. She's got Ambo in the vicinity as well, does Janchevsky. But she's going to lose the ball and go down holding her right ankle as Preston come away with it. Tanaka. Preston retaining possession. Janchevsky's back to her feet and jogging forward. Jogging back, I should say. Nishimura. To Johnson. Up and under pass down the flank. Ambo keeps it in after Barrero's header. Edwards. To nobody in particular, really, unless she was attempting to find Emma Checker, who comes up with the ball, directing traffic, while laying it off to Fonsong Cam. She continues to make a run. Still going. All for naught in the end as the assistance flag goes up. And Heidelberg will get us going after an offside. Ambo calling the ball for on the left flank, right in front of our commentary position. It doesn't come to her. Edwards in the Ambo direction. Tulevski reacting first. 2 former Calder United players. Now the defender with Preston and the attacker with Heidelberg. Janchevsky, who appears none the worse for wear after that earlier knock to her ankle. In the vicinity as Heidelberg get us going again. Miata, the goal scorer, looking for Janchevsky. Unable to come up with it, and it'll be a goal kick for Preston Lions. Tanaka coming up with it for Preston. Checker. Laying it down for Fonsonkam on the left. Johnson's in the middle. Fonsonkam driving inside. Across the face must be. It is the equaliser. They're not going to take that one away from Preston. Fonsonkam to Hayley Johnson, her 9th of the campaign. And just like that, this game is tied at 1 apiece. One of the easiest goals that Hayley Johnson will ever score in her life. She won't care. As the hosts, Preston, strike quickly in this second stanza, bringing the game back to 1 apiece. And all to play for here at Ganasteel Stadium at BT Connor Reserve. How now do Heidelberg respond? There's Barrero on the left. We're going to respond quickly, maybe. Mami Ambo. All across the face. It's not going to find anyone before Checker gets on it. Because Heidelberg created a series of opportunities before they eventually broke the deadlock through Miata, that on another day with just a bit more precision, a bit more power on the efforts, would have asked a lot of questions. Type of efforts that, if they are unable to hold out for something in this one, they will potentially regret, as attempts to play through Galea. Kamakropa for Horison, out to claim. See the veteran instincts of Checker there on the left, as she's directing traffic and directing where the run's to go even before she gets the ball. She's moved forward now on the left. This ball goes out to the right. Harrington looking to play through the goal scorer Johnson, but Bailey will come out to claim. Ambo heads it on. Galea's going to give chase. With Feeks pressuring her, she was induced into an early shot. Couldn't make the kind of contact that she would have wanted. And it comes to naught. Galea, the equal leading scorer for Heidelberg United this season. She's got 3. Keelan Lockhart, who currently on the bench, also has 3. Feels for a handball on Mami Ambo there. Unheeded before it goes out for a Preston throw-in. Sophie Papalia also had 3 for Heidelberg United, but she left during the mid-season window. Departed alongside Ellie Torre for Brunswick Juventus. Rachel Sturton, former Preston Lions player who had moved to Heidelberg and also departed. She's now a Calder United player. So almost a trade in the end, if you will. Mami Ambo coming across from Calder. Rachel Sturton heading in the opposite direction. Checker, another mid-season edition, of course, from Melbourne Victory on the ball there. A lot further forward in this second stanza is Checker. It's Nishimura at the base of the midfield, pulling the strings for Preston. Johnson heads it on. Tanaka gets it to Harrington. Gets it back, and that'll be a free kick. Coming together between Rabin and Tanaka. And in the end, it looks like potentially Rabin, despite delivering the infringement that will result in a yellow card, has come up worse for wear, holding her elbow, it looks like. You see Rabin's reaction. Came up in a bit of pain, only to find a yellow card waiting for her. Eltalewski standing over this one. Another opportunity for Preston to get some numbers forward. All queuing up on the top of the penalty area. High ball. Falls to the back, only as far as Rakic. Miata and Checker, or O'Donoghue as well. Rabin. Shielding the ball from a couple of Preston players before sending it out to Barrero. Janchevski's header intended for O'Donoghue. Didn't come off. Nishimura comes away with it. Tanaka wants Johnson. Eventually plays it out to her. Preston getting forward in numbers. Tanaka! 2-1 Preston! Johnson returns the favour for Tanaka, setting up the Japanese attacker to put her side into the lead. Her second goal in a Preston shirt. She scored on debut against South Melbourne, and now against one of Preston's other great rivals, Heidelberg United. She has another. And here we go. After entering the second stanza, down 1-0. Preston have fought back and have themselves a 2-1 advantage. And now it is the Burgers that are tasked with finding a way to respond and overturn a deficit. Janchevski. Make the O'Donoghue, two of these A-League women representatives in the Heidelberg lineup. Janchevski with Adelaide, O'Donoghue with the Raw. Can they inspire their side to some kind of response? Perhaps not, as von Songkham instead carrying the ball forward for Preston. Bit of pep in the Lioness's step. Henderson loses the ball. O'Donoghue does well. Rabin out to Barrero. West Australian looks up and gets it to Mamiambo. A return pass picked out. Ball forward for Rabin. Nishimura providing the defensive work. Ambo, surrounded by red shirts, looking for the byline. Ball scoots out for Horace and Claims. She gets us going back through Jade Feeks. Lamont fouled. Preston wanting a yellow card on Rakic, and they're going to get one. Madison Rakic, the second Heidelberg player into the book. Rakic has had an interesting scenic. She was actually registered with Preston at the start of the season before leaving and heading to the Geelong Galaxy and joining Heidelberg mid-season. He was also spent a bit of time with the FE Emerging program as well as Alamein. Oh, Edwards all over Tanaka there, but it looks like the advantage has been played. Harrington got the cross in. Johnson was in the vicinity, but it was just slicing away from the Preston attacker and allowed it to be claimed by Bailey. Miata, who has Heidelberg's goal, sends it forward to Janchevsky before getting it back. And a second ball forward. Not as good as the first one, as it bounces out into touch for a Preston throw-in on that left flank. Emma Checker just inside her own half of the pitch to take. Also looks like Coach Dan Fodden is preparing to make a change down there on the sideline. Heidelberg as well, the paperwork is being lodged. Harrington under pressure from Ambo, who wins the ball. Rabin. It's going to come back though, as in the afters. Ambo was fouled by Eva Harrington. And that will actually be Eva Harrington's last contribution to this game, as she is replaced by Molly May Ramsey. So Molly May Ramsey enters the fray, immediately going to mark Alani Janchevsky. Edwards ball in. Oh, good bounce, but nothing that Horrison can't deal with. Heidelberg coming up and trying to play the press, but it's well avoided by Henderson, who got it to Checker. She left the ball underneath her feet as she attempted to boot it forward. Heidelberg's ball. Galea. O'Donoghue. Well worked around one, then played central in the Janchevsky direction. Nishimura cutting it out. Miata trying to burst forward and win it straight back. Tanaka laying it off for the newly introduced Ramsey. Well, in the hands of Molly May Ramsey on the right. Not sure how I feel about somebody wearing the number 9 playing right back, but that's where Molly May Ramsey's gone. Janchevsky heading it on for O'Donoghue. Bring it down. Rakic was bursting forward down the right. It was a run unrewarded as O'Donoghue turns it around. Galea. Sienna Weston as Heidelberg will reset. Edwards. Directing traffic. And then to cough the ball up. Molly May Ramsey on it. Johnson turning the ball over in her own half. Ambo nodding it on for Janchevsky. O'Donoghue shooting from range and sending it just wide. Sarah O'Donoghue scored a goal on debut against Brunswick Juventus a few weeks ago. Unable to add to her tally there as Heidelberg United making their first change of the game. Madison Rakic, who had been booked, coming off, replaced by Eve Tiktikakis. Another mid-season addition, returning to Heidelberg United after spending a bit of time with the Florida Tech Panthers in the United States collegiate system. She will be heading back to the US eventually. Not back to Florida Tech though. She's off to Charleston Southern to continue her education and a bit of footy. Now though, she's just focused on Heidelberg's efforts to come back into this one. Through Ambo perhaps? No. Closed down at the near post through Harrison. O'Donoghue and Ambo in these last few exchanges just beginning to tune up their radars, try to find a way back into this one for their side. That 1-0 lead now, a 2-1 deficit. Johnson, quickly surrounded by Burgers, who come up with it. Well done by Miata in the tight confines of that midfield battle. To Karkas, getting an early touch to Rabin, who sent that one behind Steph Galea. Able to keep it in and then put a bit of a sombrero on her opponent, albeit unable to find a teammate in the aftermath. Miata forward to Ambo, left it behind, went back and got it, poking it hopefully in the Barrero direction, but Molly May Ramsey with a strong sliding challenge. It looks like at least one, maybe two more changes coming from Heidelberg United. Keely Lockhart has her bib off, and looks like she will certainly be entering the fray. As mentioned, Lockhart, Heidelberg's equal leading scorer thus far on the campaign with 3 goals. Brought up a 50th game with Heidelberg earlier in the season, did Lockhart. Long ball forward, Janchevsky and Checker are there, the latter poking it away. But Galea coming up with it for Heidelberg before Feeks taking it right back. Miata for Ambo. Onside, Mami Ambo across the face of goal. Difficult effort for Mami Ambo. Harrison had done well to close down the angle and force that sort of attempt. And in the end, it's going to be a goal kick for Preston, albeit the last few shots from Heidelberg increasingly asking questions of the Lionesses as they look to defend this newly won 2-1 advantage. Lamont laying it off for Feeks. Nice all long ball forward, ricochet off a teammate. That's to the chagrin of the Preston dugout. Galea. Karkas. Janchevsky's ball for Galea didn't initially come off, but fate smiled upon it. Now Janchevsky looking for Rabin at the back post, headed clear before it could find her. Rabin uses her bigger body to her advantage as she claims the ball and lays it off for Barrero. O'Donoghue keeps play moving. Miata. Miata, score from similar range in the first half. Laid it off on that occasion. O'Donoghue. Barrero, first time cross, deflected, corner kick. And Heidelberg continuing to hope that these last few exchanges, this mounting pressure will find a crack in this Preston defence that they can then exploit. Next opportunity to do so coming from this corner. Rabin. High delivery to the top of the 6-yard box. Defensive header as far as Janchevsky. Miata. O'Donoghue turns fantastically. The shot not quite of the same standard as she puts it over the bar. But again, Heidelberg searching for a way back into this one, as it's going to be a double change. Lockhart will indeed come onto the surface, but she will be joined by Catherine Vlahopoulos. Mami Ambo will be one of the players making way. We saw the tape on her leg that has remained on throughout this game as she comes off. And Steph Galea is the other player who will make way for Heidelberg United. So Galea and Ambo off, Vlahopoulos and Lockhart on, both immediately going up top as Heidelberg United search for an equaliser of their own. O'Donoghue, she's been good for Heidelberg. Ball will spill out for Janchevsky. Tried to thread the eye of a needle, unsuccessfully. Heidelberg battling hard for it to try to keep the ball in their attacking half. But Preston looking to transition. Tanaka. Her goal has Preston ahead, but there wasn't a lot of players going with her, and she was swarmed by Heidelberg defenders who win it back. Edwards under pressure from Tanaka. Takakis. She loses the ball to Johnson. No, she doesn't. Last coming off the Preston player. Thought it had bounced off the right back's knee. Ball stays in. And Johnson's endeavour on that occasion rewarded. Throw in for Preston on their attacking left flank. O'Donoghue to Lockhart. High ball forward. It's going to give Vlahopoulos something to chase. O'Donoghue to Miata. Getting it back now. Playing it out to Lockhart on the left, but connection with the newly introduced substitute not quite there, and it rolls out for a goal kick. Nishimura. Try poise in a chaotic midfield as she carried the ball out and then just knocked it forward, gaining a bit of territory. Molly May Ramsey, ball in her hands. Put it on by Johnson. Lamont. Has he kept it in? It has been kept in. Oh, massive collision in the middle of the park there between Tanaka and Miata. Both players going down So it was Von Songcam and Miasa. I think it's Miasa that has gone into the book there as well. On Songcam, trying to shield the ball from Lockhart. And able to shield it from Edwards. Now the foot race is on. Comfortable in the end for Feeks. Checker. Trying to hold off Alana Janchevsky. Sends it to Feeks up the touchline. Lamont. Back heel in the end to Tanaka. Henderson. Checker's first time ball, asking questions of Heidelberg, which they answer. Heidelberg unable to get the ball out of their own half cleanly. Have a throw in. Lays it off for Janchevsky. Miata, high ball forward in the Lockhart direction, chesting it down. Laying it off for Janchevsky. Lockhart. Vlahopoulos and Rabin in the middle, if she can find them. She's round two, Lockhart. Top cut back to Vlahopoulos! Catherine Vlahopoulos ties this game up. The Burgers had been knocking at the door. Some fine play by the substitutes. Lockhart rounds a couple, cutting it back, and Vlahopoulos with the effort again. Horison sees a ball just scoot underneath her. And Heidelberg have the equaliser they have been threatening. And well, bumper finish coming up to this one now. Heidelberg had the lead, surrendered it to Preston. Now, Preston surrendering an equaliser to the Burgers. Who will land the next blow, the next haymaker? Will it be Rabin getting forward, laying it off? Lockhart over the bar! One of those ones where it's almost harder to miss. But Lockhart with a golden opportunity to make it 2 in 2 minutes and put the Burgers ahead. Instead, over the crossbar. And now Preston, with the second chance at life, that massive reprieve, carrying the ball forward. Can they find a way to respond? Nobody in the vicinity of that throw-in, albeit Weston left it behind and allowed Lamont to come forward and win a free kick. Free kick opportunity now for Preston. Emma Checker to take. Quite frankly, they should be down 3-2. Lockhart putting her effort over the bar. Can they now take a 3-2 lead? Von Sonkam presents the short option. It's ignored as Checker lofts it in. Edwards with the defensive header. O'Donoghue seizes upon it. Lockhart asking for the ball. Pass. Solder maybe into a little bit of trouble as Talevski laid the challenge. And now Preston. Bit too much on that one for Tanaka to chase down before Bailey got on it. Cameron Barrero for Heidelberg. Wants Lockhart. Couldn't get it past Molly May Ramsey. Tanaka lays it off for Von Sonkam. Ramsey back to Von Sonkam. Edwards with the challenge. Big finish coming up for both of these sides, albeit Heidelberg, they've got a midweek game coming up. They've got to play against FV Emerging. Or then being away to Alamein next weekend. Preston, meanwhile, as the season reverses, everybody will have played once by that point. Reverse fixtures coming up as Preston will be at home to Burundara on Friday night. Well done by O'Donoghue to turn and try to play it to Janchevski. Horde of Heidelberg players there in the midfield. Coming up with it, Rabin. Options to her right and left, to Lockhart. First time ball, back to Rabin. Cutting it around one defender, couldn't get it past the second. And Henderson clears it away. Rabin goes down in a bit of pain. Rabin still down, requiring a bit of treatment. In the other game, Bulleen Lions have gone up 3-0 over Calder United, so Coach Caitlin Friend's side will hit the halfway mark of the campaign. Well clear of the rest of the league. 10 wins, 30 points. Preston, as it currently stands, on 23 points with this draw. No doubt be hoping, though, that they can get another goal and just reduce that deficit on Bulleen to 2 games, to 6 points. But first, they'll have to repulse Heidelberg United. Ball in the hands of Barrero. Lockhart bustling her way through. Nishimura gets a boot in. Rahopoulos, who scored the equaliser, lays it off to Barrero. Lockhart! Bottom corner, the comeback is complete! Lockhart wouldn't be denied on the second time of asking. Found the bottom corner of the net. And Heidelberg 1-0 up to 2-1 down to now 3-2 ahead. And look at Lockhart get down to the dugout. Heidelberg United. They didn't even have Margot Rabin on the pitch. She's asking for permission to come back on now. Preston making a three-player change from Songkam coming off. Talevsky as well. This is Jade Feeks. Summer Kapanetsha, one of the players coming on. Dakota Thyssen as well. Arnie Gadais, I think, also into the fray. And now, all of a sudden, Preston, the onus falls upon them. Can they add another twist to this tale? Kavanetsya carrying it inside, but her pass goes long, seized upon by Vlahopoulos. Edwards, high ball forward. Checker, who has gone to centre back, seizes upon it. Preston staring down the barrel of a 3-game losing run at the exact time the Burgers on the precipice of a 3-game winning one. Tiktakakis as the ball scoots through, gets it to O'Donoghue, who gives it back. Laying it off to Mia Bailey, who looks up and sees Barrero in space. Lockhart, Molly May Ramsey at her back, just looks for a bit of territory. Johnson got the header, but it went straight out of play. So it went right over the head of Janchevsky as Ramsey couldn't knock the ball forward into touch. Heidelberg throw in. Checker out to Tanaka, who's gone over to the left flank. Henderson trying to slide it ball through for Johnson. Miata just hoofs it up towards the Preston goal. Checker intercepting. Ramsey to Nishimura. Ramsey loops it back inside. Miata's header. Ramsey coming through. And as far as Barrero. Both sides scrambling for it. Heidelberg throw in as Preston preparing. Another change. Only Vlaming coming into the battle, replacing Georgia Henderson. The skipper coming off. As it stands, Lockhart's 84th minute goal would be our winning one. As Janchevsky had strayed into an offside position. Sven Simals, interim Heidelberg coach. Well, he's pulled a bit of a Tony Gustafsson. He's pulled out the whiteboard on the bench, making adjustments. As his side now look to defend a 3-2 lead. The Burgers making another change as well. Gadais plays it forward. Layman can't come up with it. Checker. Vlahopoulos in her face. O'Donoghue pounced. Carrying the ball forward, goes down. Burgers want a free kick. There's none coming. Tanaka put the pass behind NPLWVIC. Rabin for Heidelberg now. Mont does well, goes down, and that'll be a free kick. And Yellow Galuccio preparing to come on for Heidelberg United. Indeed, that change will be made now. Galuccio will replace Rabin. Maybe still, yeah, she is limping slightly as she does come off Margot Rabin. Still directing traffic though. Wasn't on the pitch for Lockhart's third strike. Was receiving treatment, and maybe now that has forced her to come off the field. Bit of a laugh from the bench as she gives the armband to Galuccio. One of these Heidelberg players that has come across from Preston. Split time between their seniors and their under-19s last season. Galuccio as Checker whips this one in. Important header from Edwards because Johnson was lurking. As fourth official, Daniel Collins, indicates there will be 4 minutes of added time here at BT Connor Reserve. As the corner is swung in, Bailey punches it and then falls upon it to massive cheers from the players in the Heidelberg dugout. Steph Galea can't sit down. She's standing up, biting her nails, riding every challenge. Bailey boots it away. Headed on. O'Donoghue trying to latch onto it. Goodnice got in the road. But if you're Heidelberg United, you will take this. The ball in Preston's half of the field. It is they that hold a 3-2 lead. With just about a minute of the added time, 4 minutes played. Winchesky laying the ball off. O'Donoghue, another sharp turn. A fourth would kill it as she plays it in. Preston knock it away. NPLWVIC attempts to carry it down the left. Snuffed out. And the Burgers will play it all the way back to Mia Bailey as they reset. Preston coming forward with the press. And they will have the throw-in on their attacking right flank. Checker hurls it forward down the touchline. Edwards again puts it into touch. Checker lofts it into the area, headed on. Ball in dispute. Will fall to Nishimura. She's got class. She winds up and puts it over the crossbar. The line was perfect. The length, not quite. But if you're Preston, there are a few players you'd want more on the ball in those situations than Miri Nishimura. We've played over 2 minutes of the added 4 allotted by the fourth official. Heidelberg with the 3-2 lead. Goal kick out. Lockhart's header goes straight into the air. Who wants it more? Tanaka takes it. Plays it out to Checker. There's some time and space to look up. Pass goes straight to the newly introduced Galuccio. And Checker's going to give away the free kick and be booked for the professional foul, maybe? No. Bit of to and fro between Galuccio and Emma Checker. 3 minutes of the added 4 have now elapsed. And it's Heidelberg on the ball. Olivia Edwards, the former Preston player, to get us going. Checker knocks it down. Thyssen gets on the ball in the middle of the park. Tanaka. It was her goal at one point that had Preston up 2-1. And it's all over at BT Connor Reserve. And Heidelberg are now 3 games victorious, coming from behind to defeat Preston in a barnstormer here in Melbourne's north. They took a 1-0 lead into the dressing room, did the Burgers, thanks to Asuka Miyata, Hayley Johnson, and Mabe Tanaka had the hosts back in the lead, but then the 2 substitutes, Keely Lockhart and Catherine Vlahopoulos, coming through big for the Burgers, who claim their 5th win of the campaign. Preston, meanwhile, on a 3-game skid. They will still end they will still reach the halfway point of the season in a commanding position, Preston, but 10 played 11, won 7, drawn 1, but lost 3, all 3 coming in the past 3 weeks. But a remarkable contest here at Melbourne's North. Been so much fun to watch. Hope you enjoyed it too on the NPL Victoria YouTube page, where you can catch every game of the NPL Women's Victoria season, every game of the NPL Men's Victoria season, live and free. Be a friend, tell a friend, make sure they're subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. Be they or you in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, or indeed anywhere around the world. My name has been Joey Lynch. Thank you ever so much for keeping me company on this Sunday afternoon. But for now, thanks and success.